All right, guys, welcome to an episode of Xbox Talks. I know it's been a while since we've done this. We are back, like I said, as the title on a case-by-case basis, just like Microsoft's exclusives. So here we are. It's number 79. We wanted to come back and kind of talk about all this craziness, shenanigans going on. If you guys aren't familiar with Xbox Talks, we are a podcast for the Xbox Series X community on Reddit and for you guys here on Discord. So welcome, guys. Thank you guys for joining in. Hopefully you like what you hear. Go ahead and come on up and talk with us if you guys like. Just raise that hand down at the bottom. But let's get this started. Let's introduce our lovely, beautiful group of hosts here. We have to my right, Moko Worm.
Hi, how you doing?
To his right, we have Mikey J. Raymond.
Hello, hello.
And he shaved, so he's very bashful about his baby face right now. And then we have Grimprovise. I was gonna say an even babier face. We have Grimprovise here.
How's it going, everyone?
Perfect. And Jay Foreman right here. Hopefully he's kind of busy, so he's just gonna be running some stuff behind the scenes. If he wants to say hi, pop in, more than welcome to. But I know he's adulting right now, so we will leave him be. But yeah, guys, let's just do a quick run off what we've been playing for the week, and then we will dive into this madness that's been happening the last, I don't know, 2 weeks. It feels like forever. But I'll start with me. I've been playing Suicide Squad. Absolutely amazing. I think it got panned for absolutely no reason. It's such a great title. The narrative, the characters, the gameplay, it's just really engaging. I haven't been able to put it down. And then I did stream last night. If you guys don't know, we have our Xbox Talks channel on YouTube. I streamed some Helldivers, which, when it works, is an amazing game. Just absolutely frustrating with all the crashes and server issues. But it's still a really fun game when it works. I played with my buddy Trust the Shooter, and we were just going nuts with it last night. Just biting our fingernails. It was insane. Moko, what were you playing?
I signed up to Ubisoft Plus.
Oh, that's right.
So I signed up for the new Prince of Persia game, but I ended up playing Mirage. I've been playing Assassin's Creed Mirage. I've been playing Turnip Boy robs a bank, because they did an AMA with us not long ago, and that's pretty cool.
So good.
I really loved the first game.
So wait, you just happen to sign up for Ubisoft Plus and you're not playing Skull and Bones?
Yeah, no, I'm not playing Skull. And then Halo Infinite, the new season of Halo Infinite started, and Palworld I've dipped into as well. I've been not played very much this last month, to be honest with you, but that's what I've been playing.
Very nice, very nice. Mikey, what about you?
I've been playing a lot of DayZ and Enshrouded.
Oh,
all right.
If you guys know what Enshrouded is.
I do not.
If not, okay. As of right now, it's only on Steam. It's an early access title, but its big catch is its building mechanics. And I actually wrote something up for Windows about this. It's the building mechanics are a lot like Minecraft. You get kind of like a block system, but the blocks are so much smaller. And you can lay out 4x4 walls, 2x2 walls, or 1x1 blocks. They give you roof tiles. Blocks intermix with one another, so if like you do stone on wood, there's some level of like interconnectivity between those that gives it like a mesh, so it looks natural, not just rock on wood. And outside of that, it's a great open world kind of action survival RPG that you can do co-op with up to 16 people. It's one of the best early access titles I've ever played. I had 100 hours in it.
I've been seeing you on Discord. It just says Mikey's playing Enshrouded pretty much almost all the time. That's awesome. I'll give it a check out. I'll take a look at it. Grim, what about you? Been playing that Tekken 8?
Well, for me, yeah, definitely that. And also Ready or Not. I've been playing that as well. That SWAT game that was on Steam. Man, that is stressful. You know what I mean? Like,
it's insane. It's insane, huh? Like the AI, I don't know, like the latest patch, they like took the AI to like level 11, and it's like insane in some levels. Like the post office level, that one's like nuts.
Yeah, I just did that one like earlier today. I was like, oh my god.
So what's the premise of that? You've got to go in as a SWAT team and what?
Yeah, if you ever played if you ever played SWAT 4, like these old PC games where you give orders like, oh, breach a door, check this area, and you have to like try and navigate your squad through this like really intense situation, and
Right.
you die really quick. You take a few shots and you're dead. So
Yeah.
it's intense.
Yeah, you have to like bag evidence and arrest people. If you can, you want to do like non-lethal hits, to like the shoulder or legs to drop them. Then you have to arrest them and call it in and stuff. It's very immersive. It's like a realistic kind of SWAT game. And then Jay, I don't know if he wants to come in, Foreman. Like I said, just Miley Cyrus it. Just come in like a wrecking ball whenever you want, and just speak whenever you can. But let's see.
How's the audio? Oh,
there he is.
That might be terrible. Yeah, is the audio quality really bad?
No, it's not too bad. We can hear you.
All right,
It's like a wrecking ball.
I'm only chiming in on this one part just to say I'm the guy that fell in love with Baldur's Gate 3. I finished it, I beat it, and went to other games, and then it called me right back to it. So I'm playing on an Honor playthrough right now, which is right up my alley. Final Fantasy Tactics is an all-time favorite game, so
Nice.
this strikes a lot of those notes, So that's I'm sure I'm not alone. That's where I'm at.
Very nice, very nice. Well then, guys, let's dive into the nitty gritty. Let's hit the spiciness level here. Microsoft had its podcast. I don't know if we want to kind of go into the lead up of this. I think it adds some pretty good context. If you guys are familiar with it, I know Mikey is. I think most of us are, since we've seen the madness on the forums about it. Essentially, there was a rumor that came out a while back about Hi-Fi Rush and coming to third party, or at least going to release on other platforms. That kind of sparked this whirlwind of just crazy overreactions in my mind. If you feel different, that's fine. I took it as a very big overreaction, which was later Xbox era kind of fueled that fire, not intentionally in the sense that they wanted to create chaos, but more so in the sense that they had a duty as a journalistic outlet to report on this. So they reported on it, and they said that Starfield was planning to come to PlayStation 5, which just pretty much hit everything into overdrive and caused the gaming spaces in most social media areas to just implode on itself, and it was just insane. We had people like Tim Dog and Kid Smooth and those influencers, I guess you could say, more social media personalities, kind of exploded into rage and just it's been a mess. Initially, I want to ask you guys, how did you guys take this news when you guys first heard it?
I remember seeing the original, the evening when it kicked off was when Tom Warren tweeted, right? He tweeted something which backed up the Xbox era guys. It was hard to say, really. It was just such an incredible explosion. Like, it's unbelievable how quickly something can just go off, right? And especially on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy. It was a crazy.
It was about. I know we're talking about specific outlets. I think when you're a keeper of inside information, if you will, these rumors, there's a kind of responsibility that comes with it and how you present it. And what I saw, especially the first night where they started to move into Starfield and the bigger release rumors, was people. They weren't very responsible in the way they came out with it. We saw exclusive in big letters, an emergency podcast, and a lot of people going, well, this is awful. They're going immediately to the doomsday scenario instead of just saying, there's also this, reporting on it in a little more controlled manner. So I think there's a risk when you come out with leaked information or information that you might have from a source. And these people knew the risk. I feel like all these outlets knew the risk of what they were doing, but they balanced that against the draw of traffic, the draw of eyeballs. And I think in the end, it bit them in the butt this time. And, I don't want to be too hard on them because I'm very friendly with a lot of these people. I know everybody up here has some contacts and connections like that. And I just think a lot of outlets really missed the mark this time, and 100%. Not in reporting it, but in how they reported it.
Mikey, what about you?
If it had come out the way that it did, I was very adamant about abandoning Xbox hardware.
Mhm.
And not because I don't love the system, but I'm also on PC. I mean, the two games I named right now are Daisy and Shrouded, but I have two Series X's. I have a Series S. I play them regularly in here, on my living room TV and in the bedroom. Just last night, me and my wife were playing Brotato. So, but for me, it was do I need this hardware if all the games are coming to other platforms anyways? And the answer is really no. And I just said, if that's the case, I'm going to walk away. If it's not the case, I'll stay. But people are trying to walk me off the cliff, and I was like, no, if all the exclusives go away, I'm walking away. But I'm not. Still here.
No, yeah, because I
Um,
think even you and I in our Xbox One Slack channel, we were talking about it. I think it was you, me, and Reese and everything like that. And we were not getting in a heated debate or argument or anything, but it was definitely a very in-depth discussion on where we kind of each stood and the cons and pros of that.
As for how
And-
people covered it, though, did Xbox Era say it was coming, or that they were looking at it for Starfield?
So that was kind of where a lot of that confusion, not confusion, but I guess where a lot of that kind of that point came to, I can't think of the word right now, that kind of set everything off. They said planning. So that's also something I think a few of the guys even at Xbox Era has even said, like, they probably shouldn't have said planning, maybe considering, but honestly, if you're planning, you're considering. So it's implied in that sense. But that's kind of what they've been saying as well. But no, they never said it
Because-
straight outright. They've just been saying planning.
Interesting
Because
to note, though, that post
it's-
after the fact, they've doubled down on that, and they've still, after the announcement, they've come out and said, no, that we do have it on note, right, that they were
Mhm.
considering Starfield. Yeah.
And it's a bit of semantics, but I think there is a difference between planning and considering. Planning is a course of action.
Fair.
Like
Yeah.
you're outlining a plan for how to tackle something. Where considering is like, hey, that would be a cool idea, and it stops there. So I love the Xbox Era guys. I'm very friendly with several of them. I think they're a great crew. I think they misstepped there, and I'm saying that as somebody who's going to continue reading their stuff and supporting them. It's just they're definitely taking maybe a little bit too much heat as well. I'm seeing them singled out quite a bit when I think this was kind of if you want to call it an industry, I don't know, like the tabloid media of gaming,
Mhm.
like the rumor mill. I think it was a misstep by that group collectively.
Yeah.
I
Words
saw
have
Jez getting pretty
consequences.
hounded too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Jet.
And to be fair,
it's
I
really
love
hard to speak
Jez.
about these things.
I love Jez,
Yeah.
but he's definitely an emotional roller coaster when things like this happen. He speaks from the heart, a lot of the times.
But what he does is he writes one thing, and then the next article he writes completely contradicts the first article he wrote. Like he'll say he was all about, and then straight afterwards he's like, "Oh, it's not really a big deal," but the previous article was like, "This is crazy." Yeah, so it's yeah.
Well,
like you
because
say, it's hard to judge.
if it was Starfield coming to PlayStation, that would
Mhm.
be crazy.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
be nuts. And I do think, I'm going to cover Microsoft here a little bit. It's going to sound bad at first, but I think Xbox considered Starfield. I
Yeah.
do think they actually did it. I do think they considered Gears. But just like, there was a leaked document about how they were looking at purchasing other companies, just because they were doing their homework. They're looking at every possibility, measuring the pros and the cons, and then coming to a decision afterwards. And their decision right now is Starfield is not worth it because it would hurt their hardware sales. And they're right, I believe. And this is all conjecture again. But that's what I believe they did as a business. They looked at it and they said no.
100%.
And I think they're going to be doing that a lot going forward because they've always said that we look at exclusives as a case-by-case basis. Does this do better as multi-platform? Does this do better going everywhere?
But how long have we been told? How long have we been told that by leadership that Xbox is becoming a platform and not a console? They've made no allusions to
100%.
that. And
I've
and
been told that a lot.
it wasn't that long ago on this show that we're doing where we were talking about would Game Pass come out on PlayStation and Switch, and the streaming xCloud, on those devices, and if that happened, everything's on there anyway, right? So it's like it's a false kind of, I don't know, infuriation for I just don't see how people can't see it coming in advance. It's not a big shock to say they're considering titles on other consoles when he's been saying that out loud, Phil Spencer, for a long time.
Yeah, I do want to read Iro down there. They said, even if the news was true and every rumor was correct, this is something that over the years people over at Xbox have been alluding to. 100%.
Yeah.
Moko said, I've said it. I mean, my biggest confusion point here, where my mind was just melted at this insanity over everything that happened, is Xbox has definitely been saying for a long time, we are a platform. That's PC, that's mobile, that's cloud, that's console. It's more, they're just not a console company anymore. The console wars are over. They're not focusing on that. And people were championing that. Yay, platform. Xbox is a platform. And then the ABK stuff happened. We're going to bring more games to more gamers. Yay, more games to more gamers. People were literally chanting that. Now, all of a sudden, Xbox is making platform-based moves, bringing more games to more gamers, and people are like, what? What's going on? What's happening? And they're freaking out.
Every gamer butt.
Huh?
Every gamer butt.
Yeah. It's just like, it's just mind-blowing for me. Like, this has been said so numerous amounts of times. People were literally chanting and waving these ABK, more game for more gamer flags, and the same people now are angry. And I mean, I'm going to get not a little console wars here, but I'm going to say they're acting like the console warriors they used to dunk on PS5, like for the PlayStation people, where they're sitting there like Smeagol. They're like, yeah, my precious, exclusives. And they're just totally losing their minds over something they've been making fun of people for the last 4 or 5 years on. It just makes no sense. I'm completely just like, mind is gone on this for like how people acted. That was also a horrible Smeagol impression.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
my bridges.
Thanks for that. Can I say that like the cross-platform stuff, cross-save, and like that's a platform strength to me. So when I see the brand building out in those ways, I'm just like, yeah, I'm behind it. I support it, and I feel like when we look at Xbox and PlayStation, because they're obviously the two that get compared the most. Nintendo's kind of an oddball, but I feel like Xbox has always been pushing the boundaries more than PlayStation, who has been trying to drag their feet with the older model of how this industry worked with the classic console generations, that kind of stuff. That even recently is that one of their famous quotes: "We still believe in generations," right? I don't believe in generations anymore, guys. I think this hardware is fluid.
Yeah.
I think your Series X has a long run in it. I think your Xbox One probably has a pretty decent run in it yet until the OS becomes too cumbersome to run on that hardware. But everything is kind of universal now, and I'm here for it, So I really like, and I kind of felt this way several times with Xbox, that gamers just are resistant to change. They like what they like. So you still see people that are confused about this whole generation thing. What if the next generation comes too soon? And I'm just like, it's not really gonna matter, because you're not getting a full reset. Like, your games are gonna work fine. You'll probably get all the new releases because developers want that bigger audience, right? Like, there's just a lot of misconceptions out there, and it's a rough ride right now.
And to be honest,
Cerebon,
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say about that, tying into that, but on the flip side, you've got Cerebon, right? I've just got to pull up the quote saying that the next console is coming, and it's going to be the largest technical leap you've ever seen. So I'm fully invested in Xbox still. I don't doubt them.
Yeah. Oh man, I just completely had a brain fart right now. I was gonna go and say something, and now I forgot. But I'll just continue off of what he said. Yeah, that most powerful console. I mean, to me, that's alluding to AI technology. I mean, they did just spend a ton of money investing into that, and have been for a while. And I think that's maybe, who knows, maybe that's where the next gen console is going to come in, is maybe some AI processing, taking it to that next leap that I don't believe PlayStation has done any, or Sony has done any kind of AI research on that. I do remember. I do understand the concerns that people have, because I mean, look at the whole Dom Matrick Xbox One era. That was a travesty. And it wasn't because, I dunk on Matrick all the time because, the way he took Xbox down a very shaky path. But he was right, essentially, in the sense where Xbox's vision is the whole digital kind of marketplace. It's just they pulled the cart too far ahead of the horse in that sense.
Are you saying that Matrick was right?
Long
That's
term,
some people on submarines, they have a product, the Xbox 360.
yeah, essentially, making, a console more than just a console, which is what they're doing now. Look at the streaming platforms. You got it on TVs where now they're smart TVs, things like that. Ideally, that's where it's going, especially with the digital market front, where now you can start and sell. A lot of games are going digital now, just purely digital. That's the future of gaming. And he was, 10 years, ahead of the time. And I think people are worried the same thing's happening here, because I think eventually exclusives in the next 5 to 10 years aren't going to matter as much. And that's where I think Xbox, where people are concerned is, are they again pulling the cart ahead of the horse, in the sense of going with something too early ahead of the time. So I understand that concern.
It's like, Mikey, when you said, like, you were ready to leave the Xbox behind, if that's what they meant. And the conversation we had on Slack at the time was, you're still in the ecosystem though, right? You're still playing Xbox, but on PC. This is where the whole sort of platform thing comes in, right?
Oh, so
console more. But were you saying you would leave Xbox, like, totally, or?
No, the hardware, because
just the hardware.
Yeah, let me go back. I love the Xbox ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the main reasons I'm able to come to PlayStation is because I play a ton of Xbox games on PC now. I use the Xbox launcher all the time. I use it exclusively for Starfield. Like, even if I open it right now, what do I have installed? And I just recently reinstalled Windows too, so it's probably not going to be a lot. Oh, Xbox services are having issues. Their PC app needs some work, man. It's not the best thing to show up. But I have Pal World. I've been playing a crap ton of Pal World on here. Let's see what else recently came out. I played all of Sniper Elite 5 when I ranted about that, a year ago. I played all that on PC. I just play a ton of games. Brotato, I was playing last night on my laptop.
Oh, yeah. But like we said in the week, though, for me, like, if you got, it just gives you options, right? Like, if you had a PS5 and a PC, and that would cover you, right? Because you're still playing the Xbox ecosystem, you're still putting money into Game Pass, into your subscription, but you just don't have an Xbox console.
And the only reason I was talking about maybe getting, I have a PlayStation, but why I'd only need a PlayStation is if they still have exclusive games, and I'm going to have to buy a PlayStation. But right now it looks like, they're all coming to PC too. So
yeah, the PlayStation games, yeah.
And we can talk about that later, but I really don't want to leave the Xbox platform. I love this system. I've been Xbox Live member for, I think my badge says 17 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's longer than that because this is just my third account I had after my first 2 free months ran out on my original Xbox 360. So, Xbox Gaming is the one that introduced me to Oblivion at the time. I spent all summer saving up for an Xbox 360 and then put 700 hours into Oblivion. Love the Xbox ecosystem. I don't want to go anywhere. It's just my money would be spent on other Xbox platforms. Every screen's an Xbox, am I right?
Yeah.
But I feel like there was something else I wanted to talk about. A lot of people are doom and glooming for these 4 games, and I just wanted to bring up the point that this is actually probably a great strategy by Xbox. Because the 4 games that are probably coming, I shouldn't say probably, but that everyone's guessing, are Sea of Thieves, right? Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush, and what was the other one?
Grounded.
Grounded would be big. Grounded, love it. I have almost all the achievements outside of the recent update. But those 4 games, you bring them to PlayStation and you bring them to Switch, and players get their hands on them and they go, "Wow, Sea of Thieves is a lot of fun. Wow, Grounded is a lot of fun. Are you telling me I could play these way sooner and for only $15 a month, if I go buy an Xbox.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's probably what, it's not just about the money, it's about the strategy of incentivizing players back onto the Xbox platform, wherever that platform is, PC or Xbox hardware. And this just hopefully it acts as a big advertisement for their service, these 4 games, in my opinion. And Grounded's a perfect one. A co-op focused or co-op centric game that is just delightful to play, and that's a lot of games from Xbox. You look at Sea of Thieves, another perfect one. And the best part about Sea of Thieves, if you come into it and you're playing other players, the only limitation you have is knowledge. There is no leveling up and getting better guns, no leveling up and getting better ships. You might see a Banjo-Kazooie ship charging you, which will be really strange as a PlayStation player.
Or the Master Chief one.
Or the Master Chief one. It's like, dude, I just got blown up by Master Chief. What's going on, man? Do you think those skins will be available for PlayStation? That would be crazy.
I
but
would
to
think
me, it's a great strategy.
I would think they would have to show them. I mean, unless you want to desync, the server, I don't think they would add that to where. Yeah, that's actually a good point. I never really thought about that.
I think a lot of people they're viewing this as testing the waters for bringing bigger games to PlayStation. And no, I think they're testing the waters to bring an audience over to Xbox. And it frustrates me to see people think of it the opposite way. Everyone always wants to go glass half empty type viewpoint, and you really need to think about it. What's the best business perspective? And it's to get players over on your platform, buying your hardware, buying into your subscription services, because Game Pass ain't coming to PlayStation. At least not right now. And I don't think they want Game Pass on their console competing with their own service. So, if you think about like the business, it's a great idea.
Oh, 100%.
A good move by Xbox, and I'm applauding them after the meltdown that I also had.
Well, that's what you and I actually talked about that in the Slack. Where you and I talked about that in the Slack channel is it's a great marketing in a sense in that aspect, where you end up basically marketing to your other ecosystem, which is the rival platform. And basically after, you spent $30 to $70, on these 4 titles, it's going to make you think, wow, I could have gotten these, day and date for, $15 to $20 a month. Now I've spent, $200 buying these 4 games. Why didn't I just invest that into an Xbox console, a Series S? I mean, essentially these prices are going to start coming out to that same point where it's like, I just spent all this money buying full price games when I could have just bought the Series S and paid $20 a month. It's insanely smart. The consoles are dying in a sense in sales wise is how I view it, is that they're hitting the roof. They're starting to hit that ceiling where they're maximizing who they can reach, how many people they can reach. And this is where Game Pass just kills it. It's where they absolutely succeed and where it's just such an insane value on where it can push this idea forward, of Xbox everywhere. If you're playing on a PC, you're playing Grounded on a PC, you're playing Xbox. You're playing Hi-Fi on a PlayStation, you're technically playing Xbox. And Game Pass, allows that to kind of happen in that sense, through the different platforms other than the PlayStation one. But you get what I'm saying, is it just adds so much value to what you're playing and where you're playing. Do you guys want to read some comments real quick? We've had a couple I've kind of skipped over by accident.
It's really logical. It's really logical when you say it, but that's what Phil said, in the direct when he said, what do we do? Do we milk everything we can out of a finite pool of players, or do we expand and get money that way? And it makes perfect business sense. Like, why would all they're going to do is, if it sticks with the finite pool of players, is increasing prices. Everyone's going to be in a worse situation than they are now. Because the revenue's got to go up, right? They're a shareholder company at the end of the day, and they've got to show progress, revenue growth. And he was really transparent about that, which I think was pretty cool.
And yeah, I will say, like, the people dunking on Xbox and making this big scene about Xbox going third party are going to look real stupid when Sony has to follow suit And same, even Nintendo. Would Nintendo have these amount of sales if they didn't do a gen refresh with their Switch going to OLED? Where would their Switch be right now if they didn't have that next gen? I know it's kind of hypothetical,
Still
so
the
I
number
can't
one
really.
selling console.
Huh? Yeah,
It would
but
still be the number one selling console.
but would it have the numbers that it does right now if they didn't do the refresh? In a sense, how much did that add to that? Are they already hitting that ceiling as well? But yeah, eventually this is the way consoles are going, or the market's going, is third party. You're gonna have to start.
You know,
Go ahead.
you talked about Switch and you talked about comments in the comment section. Somebody brought up it could be that they're switching the architecture from x86 to ARM, since that's one of the rumors, and seeing how the Surface team is working on it. That's a good possibility. I will say the Surface team, as far as I'm aware, they have actually worked on the Xbox platform for some time. This isn't new. They're not just moving over to Xbox.
Yeah. Rumors are they've designed the next console. Did you see that this week?
I believe the rumor is, though, that they're designing one of.
Oh yeah.
Because the rumor that I've seen, and I haven't corroborated this with anyone, even though you'd think I'd have my sources, I just haven't dove into it. This is a mobile version.
Yeah, handheld.
And I don't know if that's going to be something like a Steam Deck with some hardware backing it up, or if it's going to be a cloud-centric device. I would think maybe either, because with all the ABK games, how they're struggling to bring them to cloud, I would assume you need to have some hardware to back that up, to play those games, and I'd want to see that. I would love a mobile device, and I think that would blow up for Xbox.
Yeah, massively.
Much like Switch does. Mobile, playing Xbox and like on a flight. Sorry, my voice is going. That would be awesome. Another comment we had, what if it's Gears 5 or Forza? I don't know how you bring Gears 5 to PlayStation without bringing the first 4.
Yeah. That's
what I mean?
Investment.
I feel like they'd have.
For sort of a remastered series, right?
I could see this, and this might upset some players, that they do Gears of War remastered collection that we've been hearing about for, it feels like, a decade.
Yeah.
Since Skull and Bones was first announced.
Yeah.
I think that they might bring that to PlayStation. Now people go, oh man, that's one of our big exclusives. It's not. It's a remastered collection. You've played the games if you've been an Xbox fan for a while. You've played the first 3 games. That was a decade ago. The important part is that Gears 4, 5, and 6 are still on Xbox only. And that again, like, hey, you want to continue the journey? Come to Xbox. That's another perfect set of games that I think could come to PlayStation and Switch. That might upset more people, but as for Forza,
Halo MCC too would work the same way.
Forza, what do you guys feel about Forza? I think that one's harder just because it gets pulled due to licensing agreements for like their songs and cars and stuff. I don't know.
I don't think Sony would, because it's a better game than Gran Turismo. Yeah, I'll say it. I'll say it. They don't want that smoke.
Where you play. Gran Turismo's better than Forza. Forza's better than Gran Turismo.
They don't want that smoke. I think Forza does the simulation better. Plus, they also have Horizon. That series where it's more than just a simulation. It's an arcade kind of style racing game that's a lot of fun, which right now Sony doesn't have. So I don't know if they would. It's a good question. I do want to bring up the part where you were talking about the ARM and portable. Project Keystone. A lot of people written it off. Oh, it's dead. It's dead. No, that iteration of it was dead. It's not the whole entire.
It was never dead.
Yeah, it's not the whole. I've seen people say no. Phil said it's canceled. No, that iteration of it was canceled. They're still taking it back to the drawing board. It was too expensive. They're going to bring it back. I mean, who knows? Maybe a TV. They did start having those rollouts with Samsung, and I think LG in Europe is the sponsored one, where, Xbox Cloud Gaming might be built in with those TVs. That would be a perfect example of, getting that cloud market and putting Xbox everywhere on more than just, now you have TVs, mobile, cloud, TV, PC, wherever it is. So who knows? I mean, we could see, that next level. I'm excited to hear more about it this holiday season. I don't know if
I
we'll
am
do
too.
FanFest again, Mikey. Hopefully we can. I don't know if you'll get the media pass.
Now, I was gonna say, now that I write for Windows Central and I just tell them, hey, I'm willing to fly out there on my own buck. Can you get me a media pass?
You got to fight Jez. You got to
We
fight
could probably
Jez
get
for
more
it.
than one, I think. Jez could
Yeah.
maybe swing that.
Sam went out with
Um,
Jez last time too. So it was, I think, Sam and Jez. I think that went last year.
I would love to see their hardware. I know that they said that they're planning to announce it holiday, which seems a little late if you want to push it to holiday, unless they're going to release it 2025
It's going to be
or
a year
like
in
early
advance. isn't it?
2025.
Yeah.
I think the first thing they show is either a mid-gen refresh, which is I don't believe in that, versus I think we're getting the tablet, the mobile screen. I really hope that's what we're getting. Because I'm excited for that. Somebody also brought up that Forza and Gears 5 are at least 2 years old. The big thing for me is that those are small titles. Or those are not small titles, those are big titles. Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush are small titles. Sea of Thieves and Grounded are GOS games. Whereas Gears 5 and Forza are huge exclusives that were much bigger games. I don't think that those fall on their current entry point bar, whatever you want to name it, for getting games on other platforms. Sorry to kind of tweak what we were talking about, but I just wanted to respond to that quick.
No, you're 100% right. Hi-Fi Rush and Pentiment predominantly sold inside their own ecosystem to Game Pass users. It wasn't like, yeah, they had it available for purchase, on the Microsoft Store and stuff and for PC, but predominantly, I would think it was played majority inside its own Xbox Game Pass ecosystem. You really can't sell that, especially if you want to start making TV shows out of this or like a cartoon. If Hi-Fi Rush would be an amazing cartoon being made. If you want to do a sequel, you have to show the value, and you can't show the value if it's only contained inside your own ecosystem. You have to see how it's going to expand on a bigger scale to see how many users it'll actually get. So, I mean, it's a good point.
Hi-Fi Rush is terrific. If you haven't played it, play it.
It is. It's magical. Let's see. Go ahead, Foreman.
Yeah, no, it's me. Just trying to bust in like a wrecking ball.
There you go.
Yeah, talking about a game like Hi-Fi Rush. I think a lot of people miss the benefit to Xbox core gamers when that IP gets exposed to a much larger audience. And beyond that, a game like Sea of Thieves, it's even more benefit when you get a larger player base, more active games, more people to play with. You can find your friends who maybe play on the PlayStation side. Like, that's a benefit to me, So I actually get excited about hearing about those kind of moves. And we talked about like expanded merchandise and stuff like that too. I'm not saying Hi-Fi Rush has a huge line of plushie toys out there or something, but a lot of these games they make money in more ways than just the direct sales. So increasing that brand exposure, it really, I think it's a benefit to us. I really do.
I do want to read.
Sorry, I just remembered a point. We were talking about Tim Dog before we started this. And Tim Dog and others have been going really hard into a comment that came out during the FTC trial that PlayStation uses that 30% cut to take games away from Xbox. And it's like, people forget that if for every game or every microtransaction that happens or is sold on PlayStation, Microsoft still gets 70%.
Yep.
So they get more than twice what PlayStation is taking. That they too can use and turn around and put into the Game Pass ecosystem or into Xbox. Microsoft is still getting the bigger benefit there for a transaction on PlayStation, and people just seem to be forgetting that. They're just like, this is just going to take more games away from Xbox. How?
Yeah.
They're getting more. I almost said we're getting more money. Like I work for Microsoft. They're getting more money out of every transaction. So
they're getting marketing. And this is also, it's funding the Game Pass machine day and date. Let other people on other platforms pay for our day and date PC, games into the ecosystem. You're absolutely right on that. It's just people don't realize 30%. Well, yeah, 70% is a lot better when it's coming into straight to your pocket and you're getting more people coming in from an outside ecosystem. I do want to read Iro's comment. It's going to be cool watching the Xbox Game Studios logo as you boot up your PS5. I agree. I was actually insanely excited when I saw for the show PlayStation Studios on my Xbox. I thought that was awesome. You know, it was something that I was like, oh, wow, you know, this could be a future of gaming where exclusives almost, you know, become not non-existent, but they're not held in such high regard, which is funny because they're not even high revenue drivers. Not even for PlayStation, which is hilarious on how many people are pushing this, you know, PlayStation exclusives. They're not even revenue drivers. They've never been for Microsoft, for one. And then for PlayStation, their margins are too little to actually make any difference. They balloon their costs making these, you know, $50 to $200 million games. And they're not even seeing that much of a return. And even their own players, only like 1/5 of their whole entire sales of consoles played Horizon. That was their most played game. And only 1/5 of their thing. So I don't know. Sorry, a little side tangent on exclusives. I hate the word. I think it's stupid.
Sorry, I go
There's
on
a
enough
value there,
tangents
though.
myself.
Huh?
Yeah, there's a value there beyond direct game sales, though, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's getting people under your tent, and it's the brand perception and that kind of thing. And I do understand that kind of part of the argument, but I mean, let's go to like the big dog. Let's say the Elder Scrolls 6. Is there any way where you would ever see that release in multi-platform? Would you think? I mean, we talked about Starfield as being the big dog. I think the real big dog is Elder Scrolls because that has the previous fan base from the prior games, right? So, to me, I think that they still, you know, if I was president of Microsoft, I would still hold some of those games close to the vest. But I really am in favor of growing the other franchises out. I think it's a good move, and like I said, for me, I think it benefits me as an Xbox gamer.
Here's the deal with Elder Scrolls 6. The other game, the last one, came to PlayStation.
Yeah.
Is it fair to take that away? And some would argue that it can be because I don't remember. Did Oblivion come to PlayStation eventually? I think it did. Too. So the last two.
I will Google
Morrowind was only on Xbox. I don't think that ever came to PlayStation. I feel like Elder Scrolls 6 could be on multi-platform, and you could swing it that way because the previous games were you don't take them away from a fan base. But Elder Scrolls 6, day one, Game Pass only, has a ring to it. That by itself is a big sell. I don't know though. That's a tough one,
isn't it?
To answer your question, yes, it did. Oblivion came to PlayStation.
Okay. I wasn't sure just because, you know, I spoke about it before, but Xbox 360, I think, came out a full year before PS3 did.
Well, I think this is where that test case of what Phil was talking about is where does this game make sense? Are they going to see a bigger return on a multi-platform strategy of getting more gamers into it? I mean, this is, if anything, if they want to sell Game Pass, make it multi-platform. It's simple. You know, oh, I can play this day and date for $20, or I could pay it full price and pay $70 to $80 for it to get it on day one when I could just play it on Xbox.
Did you just increase the prices of both Game Pass and a game? You said $20 instead of $15, and you said $80.
This is my
Stop.
well, $80 for, I mean, with taxes and everything like that. I know when I went out and bought a game, it's like 70 something bucks, you know, with taxes and everything.
It's like £60 in the UK. 65, 60.
I'll probably pay $100 for Elder Scrolls 6.
But I mean, even still, I'm assuming
we're all
though,
the collectors, we all know it.
and I'm definitely assuming Game Pass is going to increase its prices sooner or later. I mean, they already kind of did. I think, what is it, $17 now, $19, somewhere around there, I think, for the Ultimate. But yeah, I'm assuming they're going to raise their prices sooner or later, especially with this strategy of getting, especially as it increases and it gets more gamers to buy into the ecosystem. It just, you know, Game Pass is already an insane value as is.
Didn't they announce this week that they've got 34 million subscribers now, and that includes Core? I think was the stat that I saw.
So yeah, I don't know though. I know Tom Warren said it includes Core.
It does include Core.
So they were at 25 for Game Pass regular before they made the Core. I can't believe they only had 9 million Xbox Live Gold things, unless I thought they were at like 50 something.
or that many people have converted to Game Pass.
Yeah,
I mean, if
it
that
sounds
was
like a high game.
if that
a
was the
high
case, then
ultimate
they would
conversion.
have 50 million then for Game Pass
All the
users.
stats before were not correct.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
that's,
don't know.
that's where I'm a
I
little
don't really
off
get
about.
too hung up.
Yeah, I can't believe they only had 9 million live subscribers. So that's where I'm kind of, Xbox Gold subscribers. That's where I'm kind of iffy about that because I thought they were at like
Yeah.
50 million something.
The
for
numbers
that.
don't add up, do they?
Yeah, they don't. So that's where I'm kind of iffy about it. I mean, semantics. So we'll find out for sure. Hopefully, maybe never, but who knows?
And that could also be part of Xbox's strategy. You know, if it is that they haven't really grown Game Pass in a couple of years, they have to entice more people to the platform.
Yeah.
Mhm.
More advertisement on other consoles. You know, I brought up earlier. Great way to do it.
100%.
Game Pass is. You were talking about that, like the different tiers or maybe a price increase. I actually, with the possibilities of like World of Warcraft and the mobile games, I could see a tier where they offer perks for some more of the games in the service, in addition to what they already do now. Like maybe they do throw in that WoW subscription time for another level up, and it's just that's real interesting because there's a lot of possibilities with everything under the tent right now with what they can do with all that. So I also think that Game Pass, like the value kind of steadily increases over time in a weird way because the first party titles, they stay there, they never leave, and as they keep releasing more of these games and assuming games like Call of Duty, we're seeing Diablo 4 making it there. These are games that I don't think there's a scenario where they leave the service, right? They're kind of under that first party description. So as we go on and on, that library becomes bigger and bigger with more and more of these classics and all-time games. And it's hard to get up here and be like, hey, Game Pass is a great value. I'm breaking news, but it just keeps increasing as time goes on.
You actually bring up a good point too about perks and stuff. What if they made a $25 to $30 subscription tier, but you get all the battle passes and you get a WoW subscription? So I mean, they have COD now, COD. They have Overwatch 2, a WoW subscription. They have a lot of these titles that are very live service. I mean, it's not a bad. I mean, I'd pay it for $25 to get all the battle passes and
save my money.
Yeah, I'd pay $25 to $30 to get a WoW subscription and battle passes all included day one with the games I purchased.
Well, if that's what you play, that would be incredible value, right? If that's your thing, yeah, for sure. Grim, what do you think?
Yeah, buddy.
I think $30 is a little bit too much. I mean, what I would say is if they maybe up it $30, annually, that I can see, because like some battle passes, they last like 3 months. You know what I mean? So why would I pay the equivalent of 3 battle passes when there's only one? So yeah, I think maybe they'll have to do it annually just to balance it out because I think it's going to be too much.
I was looking up something. Wait, we're talking about battle passes for $30? Are you nuts?
No. So I was saying that Game Pass might add a tier that would include all, since they have Call of Duty, they have Overwatch 2, they have WoW, they have other tiers. What if they add a Game Pass tier that includes those battle passes as part of a perk?
Gotcha.
Day one.
Okay. Ooh.
Like if it was $25 a month.
I don't know, because does anybody play every battle pass? Like, it sounds enticing, but it's like I don't have time to do the finals, to do Overwatch, to do Halo, to do Call of Duty. That's a lot of battle pass.
Right, that would kind of justify a discounted rate, maybe, like an all-in-one type thing. I play Overwatch, and I would play Warcraft if the subscription was made available in that kind of manner. It might make sense to me and that kind of level, but I think you're right. Like, nobody's going to play all of these games, and we can get into their mobile offerings too. You have Hearthstone. They have some of the biggest mobile games out there now. Diablo Immortal. There's a new Warcraft Rumble. I've been playing the heck out of that. I'm embarrassed to admit it, but there's a lot of angles that they could work.
Yeah, I think it's a good tier. Like, we just pricing wise would have to take work, but I mean, if it was maybe $22 a month, I mean, even 25, I'd be fine to pay 25 because I play a ton of battle passes. So, I mean, in theory, it's great for me, but not for everybody.
You just keep raising the prices on me over here, and I'm just like,
I would be okay with $100
like, how much money? Cork's like, how much money can I give Microsoft?
Just take all of it. Just take all of it.
Whatever it is, I'll pay. I'll pay it.
I mean, for a battle pass
$70
tier
a month.
and a WoW subscription, I'd pay easily, $25 a month for that. I don't mind because
There's
you're already
definitely a
paying like.
feature where they could just add. They could just put perks in, right? Yeah, maybe not to go all that way, but what they ranked as now a $3 trillion company. It's like there's definitely ways they could take advantage of that over the competition to add perks or take a hit here and there to increase the service, which would be cool.
I always think that's a weird angle when people use Microsoft's total value and compare that to Xbox. I think Xbox still has an independent kind of value to it, and they're not obviously gonna bleed dry, bleed the coffers dry trying to prop up a brand. Xbox is a very strong brand, and people kind of they overlook that sometimes because they get into the first, second, and third place thing. But even in third place, like if you look at all the big burger chains in the U.S., like Wendy's is great, or Burger King, those guys are still making a ton of money, even though they're not winning the war, the burger war, if you will. Thank God there's not burger warriors out there, huh?
Jumbo Jack, better than everywhere.
I think it's even still impressive that they're even in third place because a lot of people tried to enter the market and just didn't last very long at all. So, I mean, it's still really impressive what they managed to do.
Absolutely, yeah.
Iro says, theory, Xbox Game Pass is going to increase in price a year or so after all Activision Blizzard games get put on the platform because games like COD, WoW seems like loss leaders for the platform like Xbox Game Pass. It would be worth it if it's just to get raw subscriber numbers up. I wouldn't say Xbox Game Pass is a loss leader. I would say the Xbox consoles are the loss leader to get people to buy into the ecosystem. I think in a sense, I think the Game Pass subscription makes a ton of money for Xbox and always has.
I think up front, if you put those games on Game Pass, you're going to lose a lot of revenue from buying games. But what they hope is people get battle passes. So if you put that, hey, that's another thing. If you put the battle pass in the subscription, then you're going to be losing out on revenue from games like COD if you also put those on the subscription. Another thing that so maybe they don't do that just because.
It's a long-term. Like Game Pass has always been a long-term, you get day and date, but if you get somebody to subscribe for 4 months, they've pretty much already paid for that one game, which is why I think they wanted to do that every 4 months kind of release is you're still buying the game essentially by staying invested into the platform.
Yeah. And also Mikey, like you said, Xbox is going to get 70% on the PlayStation sales, which they didn't have originally. Because they didn't own COD. So, there's that's going to help make up the cost. So, it's kind of like a loss that they never even had in the first place because they never owned COD until now.
Well, I wonder if Call of Duty, if it comes to Game Pass, if it also comes to PlayStation Plus. I know they said that they'd have to pay, but I wonder if that happens.
I think
I do see the subscription going up, though.
I think PlayStation makes way too much money on those sales, I think, to allow that. That's why their own games don't even come day and date, is they rely heavily on the software sales. Because as we could see, they don't really make a lot of those in that sense for exclusives from their leaked financials. They balloon their costs way too much. So I think they would have to have those games not on PlayStation Plus, in my mind, from what I'm just looking at their financials that leaked. Am I losing? Oh, I'm just seeing Grim fly around the screen right now. The different things. Anybody else? Do you guys have anything else you guys want to talk about? Is there anything else? I kind of feel like we've hit the end of this topic. If you guys are fine with that,
I think we have.
I'm not sure if there's anything you guys want to bring up or talk about.
There's other things we could talk about, but they're totally off topic. So
I think the only thing I would mention is just all these influencers online. I had a real sort of bugbear with them over this. I think for them to, you called someone at the beginning like Tim and for me Colt as well, and people like they just, there's no walking back for Tim now for me, and these people that said all this stuff and vented all this anger, and I'm interested to see how the community reacted now going forward. And I'm surprised they had so much influence. That those guys shouting so much could bring Xbox to bring it direct forward and address it directly, and it really surprised me how much influence they do have.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, a lot of that too, I could see why people like Tim Dog and Peter and Smoove and those guys, you know, their whole internet identity is based on console warring. You know, if Xbox is going to start bringing games to other platforms, what do they have? They have nothing anymore.
But they've destroyed their reputation and their accounts in my eyes.
Their whole internet identity is crumbling.
Not that the reputation, not I didn't hold much sway for them anyway. But
I already didn't like neither of those guys because they were so toxic.
Yeah,
but even now, post show, they're not walking back. They've not come out and said, okay, well, it isn't as bad as we thought. I shouldn't have said some of those things.
So far,
they're like, we're gonna get doubling down harder,
and it's like people just seem to be accepting it, and it's
so far. I've only seen Colt.
Confusing me a little.
Colt and Jez walk back kind of like, hey, yeah, we may have kind of been a little bit too crazy on this. You know, we're sorry kind of thing. Those are the only two. Everyone else is just doubled down. You
might disagree with me on this, but the only person that I've really held to all the way through and thought, yeah, he's handled it really well was Tom Warren. That for me. Yeah. He was very measured. He only commented when he needed to. I saw him join some of Tim's podcasts as well, Twitter Spaces as well. And he never spoke. But he could see him and he was there and he was just listening. And I think he held himself very well. But he works for, he's quite high profile and his publication's high profile. And he's got a lot to lose, hasn't he? I get that.
He did write a big exclusive the day before, though, too. That kind of fear-mongered a little bit, in my opinion. But he was decent. I thought Jez was actually decent. His own personal side commentary. I remember he said stuff like, "I imagine you'll see Halo on PlayStation someday." He never reported those things.
Yeah.
He, for the most part, reported that Microsoft was considering this, or they could be. And I thought he did fairly well reporting-wise. If you follow his Twitter, his news, mistake.
Yeah.
Just because he does get very personally invested.
He's very emotional because
he loves stuff. Yeah, he loves the platform.
I'm interested to see what happens next though with how the community react to this group of influencers, or are they going to forgive and forget? Are they going to come back into the Xbox fold? I'm just interested to see what happens.
You got so many of them. Like I said, their internet identity's crumbling. Is when exclusives start to become more and more less important. I mean, they're already not important from a business sense, but when they start to become less invested in, by, console warriors, it's just going to destroy their internet credibility. It's their identity, their persona is done. They have nothing to console war if people can play games on all platforms. What good are they now on the internet? I even posted something on Twitter, a long page. I think Mikey actually retweeted it and liked it this morning. But I'll just read the end part.
I saw that.
Yeah, I just said stop giving attention to these people who rather be outraged, console war, and engagement farm because their internet identity is crumbling. Start following people who want to enjoy games for what it is, something to be amazing and fun to be shared with others. And that's what gaming should be. And that's what I think, this is why I'm invested in the Xbox ecosystem, is because that's what I believe that they are, pushing forward is gaming together, having fun. It's not about what plastic box you like to cheer for, it's what you like to play and who you like to play with. And the more people you have to play with, the more fun you can have.
I'm not offended. The wrong word is offend, but what offended me about the Tim thing was like he'd been kind of slightly accepted into Phil Spencer communicate. I've seen Phil communicate with him directly, and he went to the FanFest stuff, and he got an invite to that, and it's just why would you? I don't know what the word is. I don't know the words are what I need to say, but why
would you burn the bridge?
Yeah, it's not some just random. You've met him, you said you saw him at some events, and
I've known Tim for a long time.
That's he always posts about Phil is like a friend of Phil Spencer, and why would you just burn that? But like you say though, but it's insane. It's insane to me that you would just react to that.
Well, he lost a couple thousand subscribers already.
Yeah. He reminds me of Stan from Eminem's song, "Dear Phil, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling."
That's been thick now. Can I shoehorn in one last topic here before we get going?
Sure, Miley.
John's actually Windows Central. Yeah. Windows Central today is reporting that Diablo 4, it's coming to Game Pass, but it's not going to be available on Xbox Cloud Gaming because of the CMA ruling, which is kind of a something that they're going to have to work through, obviously, with regulations around that. But even just a couple minutes ago, he followed up and said that they're working on this year allowing you to play your own library through cloud gaming, through xCloud,
Amazing.
and that would be one way to kind of obviously you're not going to own the title on Game Pass if you want to play Diablo via cloud, but if you already purchased the game, that you're still going to have that cloud access to it, so you don't have to make
It'd be
up your own
digital only,
console.
right? It'd be digital only, right? Because that's the only way they could verify the purchase.
Yeah, I don't think you can play physical games by cloud play. Well,
Yeah.
wait, by remote play, maybe you can.
You could if the original Xbox One plan was followed through.
Well, okay, but I'm saying if you have a disc in your console and you fire it up remotely through the Xbox app, can you start that disc and play that game?
Well, I don't know.
Because you have pretty much full control of your console. Like you can't watch like YouTube TV or media apps like that kind of thing because of licensing, obviously. But I'm gonna have to test that. I never use my disk drive. I don't have any discs, so I can't test it.
Yeah, but if they're going to let you play through cloud, it would just be if you purchase that game digitally, they know that you own that, right? And then it'll show up on cloud. You're never going to be able to play
I completely
disc.
misunderstood you. You're 100% right. Because that's how that licensing works. So
that's still super cool. That's still amazing, right?
Yeah,
I just wanted to bring up.
Go ahead.
Cool.
One thing about how you can play own games through your cloud, and how this story was broken actually, because someone asked through Xbox messaging to Phil.
Oh,
hey Phil,
I saw that.
What do you mean, like on the console, like a
on the
message?
console?
Yeah.
And he asked, any word or update on being able to play own games on xCloud? P3 should be this year. Thanks, man. Have a great night. And Phil responded with you too.
And it wasn't like spelled out U2. It was like U2.
It wasn't announced through the podcast. It wasn't announced through Xbox Wire or like a reporter. Amazing. It was just through an Xbox DM. Hey man, yeah, it should be this year. Oh, Phil.
What a guy.
People forget like Phil's a gamer. Like, yeah, he's the CEO. He's a suit in a sense, but he's a gamer. He's like, and this is what separates, a lot of Xbox from other people is a lot of these people that are in these positions either by social media or higher up the chain, whatever it is, they're real human beings, and they're awesome to talk with. Mikey, we talked with tons at the last Xbox Fan Fest. Stein is one of the most down-to-earth, chill, cool people ever. I see Megan, she's in our thing right now. One of the coolest people ever. We got to sit there and talk with her. She was wheeling around, because of her foot and stuff, but happy and talking about gaming and Star Wars. And it was an awesome experience. And these are real people at Xbox. And that's what I love about the platform. Phil and Sarah, I've known Aaron for years. They're all the same. They'll sit there and talk with you about gaming, about your personal life. They're just not some suits to, make statements. They're literal gamers that like to have fun and enjoy themselves. I'm back to no wheels now. I'm glad to hear that, Megan.
I think.
Oh, that's right. Forgot.
I think Sarah came across extremely well in that direct. Just spoke very well.
So, Matt Booty. I think people know I wasn't the biggest fan of him at times. Huge presence on that podcast. I was like, damn, no wonder you have this job.
Yeah.
He did well.
I think he gets overshadowed a little bit by Phil and Sarah a little bit. I mean, Sarah's just, if you ever saw her, how she handled herself during the trial, that was a masterclass. I mean, she was running around circles around a lawyer that, just had no idea where they were at when she started talking. It was insane. I've said this for a while. Sarah's probably, how can I say it? Because I don't want to say groomed because that's such a icky word. But Sarah's being put into place, I think, to take over for Phil in the next, year or two. I think Phil's leaving them off in a great position, and I think if he's going to dip out at any time, it's going to be sometime within this year or next year, I think. And Sarah's going to take that mantle. That's just conjecture. That's just me hypothetically thinking, but I think she's ready for it. Phil's taken, I think, Xbox as far as he could or he can. I think it's time to.
What is happening right now?
What?
I'm sorry. No, you think that Phil's going to leave in a couple of years? Like,
Yeah. I think you'd rather leave.
He had a good run. He moves into a better position, or
I mean, he's been doing
retiring.
this for 25 something years. I mean, Larry's already kind of left too. I mean, we're seeing that end of what we grew up with now transitioning to that next gen, that next evolution of the Xbox ecosystem and gaming in general. I mean, I love Phil. I hope he never leaves, but eventually, he's been there for 25 years, I think. That's
What
a
if
long
Phil
time.
Spencer got replaced with Jim Ryan?
Crying.
Don't say it. Don't say it. I heard the first word, crying.
Yep, I was about to Jim lying, crying, flying, trying, dancing Ryan. Tap dancing Ryan. Yeah. But yeah, I think Sarah's ready for it. I mean, this is just, we're just kind of, BSing here, talking, off the cuff. But yeah, I mean, if you don't want to leave somebody in a spot like Jim Ryan did, where your company's kind of in a bad spot and now you're having to play.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I mean, Sean Layden kind of was pushed out because of Jim Ryan, but he at least left them in a good spot to kind of take over that mantle of PlayStation. And I think, if any good leader, they'll leave people off ready to succeed versus having to step up.
Absolutely.
In that sense. Yeah, sorry, we're going off on a little tangent, but I think we've hit the end of the show. If you guys are good with that.
Yeah, I think so. No problem.
Been
good.
Yeah. I mean, it was good to see you guys again. Like,
good to see you all. Yeah.
I mean, we've been trying to do this. I know my thing was a little clickbaity, my title up there. I thought it was a good, little joke to throw in, but no, I mean, hopefully we can do this more. Right now it's a case by case. I can't say too much why we've kind of had this hiatus for a little while. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes for the Reddit communities and stuff like that that we can't really discuss yet. Hopefully we can talk more about that soon. But yeah, if you guys want,
finds a way to talk about it.
Huh? Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
We'll hopefully have something new. I know it's being vague and intentionally vague on that, but I have to be. But we do have the YouTube channel. I stream there. I think Grimm's talked about maybe possibly streaming. We have a lot of avenues. We're going to keep that channel. This talks, we are video recording it as well, so this will go on to the YouTube channel. But yeah, join us there. We'll hopefully do some more of these and see you guys. Do you guys want to do a quick roundabout on what we're going to be playing this week?
I have no plans. I'm not going to lie to you. It's half term for me this week with my kids, so I don't know if I'm at all.
This week is going to be, as soon as I get my code, Nightingale.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm going to be. I play a lot of these games, and if they come to Xbox, I think Enshrouded is planned to. I'm going to be double dipping, so I will buy it again. But like Nightingale's coming to Steam. I'm going to be helping cover it for Windows Central, writing guides. I've been pretty busy writing guides for like Pal World and Enshrouded.
Nice.
But I also want to play. This is going to sound embarrassing. I didn't finish Starfield.
No, me either.
Because at the time I was going through a lot in my own personal life, and there was other things that were coming out too. I need to go back and finish it. I'm looking at it right now since my Xbox app decided to load on PlayStation or on PC. PlayStation. I'm gonna play some of that, and I also have Stray downloaded.
Oh, Stray's a good one. Quick too.
Brotato a little bit more, and I just installed something called Played Up. I have no idea what that is yet, but we'll find out. It's cooking, and it looks.
It's
chaos.
like Overcooked. If you ever played that, it's kind of similar, like a little couch co-op kind of cooking game.
Okay.
Grim?
More Tekken for sure. I don't know. I was thinking about checking out this game, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, which is like anime Monster Hunter. So I guess it's basically like Monster Hunter.
That blew up on Steam.
I heard about that. Yeah,
I've been seeing that. So yeah, I kind of want to check that out because I've played like the Grand Blue Versus games, but that's about it. I didn't really go any further than that, which is like their fighting game. So now that they made a Monster Hunter style game, I'm definitely interested.
So
Foreman, you there?
speaking of,
Oh, go ahead.
I talked about Brotato, which is Vampire Survivors, like if people don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Deep Rock Galactic Survivor came out
Ooh.
on Valentine's Day.
I've only heard good things about Deep Rock Galactic. I've never played it.
I've had
Well,
that game
this is,
for years and never even booted it up.
Deep Rock Galactic Survivor is their take on a Vampire Survivors like genre.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So I might have to visit that too. Sorry.
Well, if Foreman's gonna join us, pretty much I'll be doing. What are you playing?
I'm just gonna say now, and that's it. I just want to say goodbye. Good to see you.
Okay.
Bye.
For everyone that didn't understand him, he said goodbye. And it was good to see everyone.
I think he said Baldur's Gate 3 and Pal World, maybe.
Yeah, I think he said he's switching to PlayStation.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
You already destroyed the Xbox.
Yeah. Took a sledgehammer. I'll just wrap up. I've been probably Suicide Squad, and more Helldivers. Helldivers, when it works, like I said, is insanely fun. But I'll be invested in that whenever
Quick question:
fly
Suicide
home.
Squad. Did Suicide Squad get a bad rap on reviews?
Yes, 100%.
It
I
did?
think it was
Right,
panned
okay.
because people wanted a single player Arkham game. And it's not that. I think media needs to stop shoehorning developers
Okay.
into only one thing.
Well, worth playing then.
Oh, 100%. The narrative, insane. I had a ton of fun.
Cool,
The gameplay
okay.
loop, super fun. Animations,
Wow.
just the color palette, all of it. For me, it was about an 8. I think an 8 out of 10 I would give it. But yeah, I think it was definitely panned because people wanted an Arkhamverse game, which is it's an Arkhamverse game, but people wanted an Arkham style kind of single player experience, and it wasn't that. So people, threw their their fit about it. But definitely play it if you want. Get it cheaper when it comes on sale. But I would definitely recommend playing it. But yeah, Suicide Squad and Helldivers 2 for me.
If I was to buy a live service game today, would I get Kill the Justice League for 70 or Helldivers 2 for 40? Assuming everything works.
I'll say Helldivers, honestly.
I don't know. I think long-term play, Suicide Squad. If you want something that's kind of short-term that I don't know will have a lot of legs going forward, it's very bare bones. The gameplay loops, I think, is better than Suicide Squad. It does get a little rinse and repeat, but the gameplay loop is better. But if you want something more long-term investment for a live service game, Suicide Squad.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Depends on how much. If you just want something to just jump in and play real quick and have some fun, you could do that with Suicide Squad, but your better value out of that would be the cheaper game Helldivers 2, because that's more oriented. Suicide Squad is going to be more if you want to invest a lot of time and energy and effort into it. That would be more bang for your buck versus just jumping in just for quick plays.
All right, I'll think about it and then just end up going back to DayZ anyways. So
there you go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is it. We thank you guys, everybody, for joining. I do want to say Iro. We also have Megan, Bartos, everybody that joined us today and talked with us. Thank you so much. Happy gaming, everybody, and we will see you guys hopefully soon.
See you next time.
This is me and Grimm's Arms signing out.
And also, Reacions are on podcast. Spotify and everything. So that's my last bit.
Awesome, guys. Take it easy.
Bye.